Oh, finally. Hello, everybody, and welcome to another Friday Night Comics. Sorry about the delay. Had some weird system problems where everything was white. I was attending to Overlord Floofington earlier, yes. He was one of the reasons I was late. I am not buying that mansion. No, not on my income. Hello, Random, Buster, Atheist Icon. Floofington's not on the stream tonight, Atheist. Sorry. He's out being a pest. Old guy, how you doing? Nobody, not me. Shady, how you doing, man? Ryan, Deckfish, TOS, how you guys doing? Oh, I should probably share this on Twitter now that I can actually work my computer again. Yeah, like, share, and subscribe if you haven't already. We'll get into some news articles. There's some crazy stuff going on out there in the world. All right, that's better. Oh, hey, Assassin. Oh, thanks, man. Hey, James. Yeah, he's out there. I was coming home from the store walking, and I had some new treats for him, and I think he knew that. And he met me across the street, and then he runs out into the street and just sits there looking at me like I should run out in the street too, because there was oncoming traffic, and he's just sitting there. I'm like, get out of the road, you freaking idiot. He's just looking at me like, give me some treats. So that was a thing that he decided to do. Hey, Tyler. Hey, Raymond. I hope everybody's doing well. All right, let's start with some rather scary news. Let's make sure everything works here. Hey, Costin, how you doing, man? All right, Kate Beckinsale was rushed to the hospital in Las Vegas. This is from comicbook.com. This just happened a little while ago at 9:14 p.m. So a little over an hour. Kate Beckinsale is recuperating in Las Vegas after being rushed to the hospital Friday morning, according to a new published report by TMZ. The Underworld star was reportedly rushed to a local hospital after her back gave out. The tabloid mentions she was in the emergency room for a few hours, but it's unclear what her current status is. Beckinsale is currently staying at the Signature at MGM Grand while she films Catherine Hardwicke's Prisoner's Daughter in and around Sin City. In 2019, Beckinsale was hospitalized after having surgery due to a ruptured cyst. That's not anybody's necessary. At the time, the actor took to Instagram to inform her followers about her health. I don't care about her cyst. Prisoner's Daughter finds ex-con Brian Cox trying to reconnect with his daughter and grandson. Ernie Hudson's in this movie too. Well, I hope she's okay. If your back going out, that sucks. That really sucks. So hopefully she's all right. Because she's still smoking hot. Hey, all right. How you doing, man? It's supposed to be a lover's moment. Meet him halfway and pick him up, give him mass cuddles. So she's not experiencing a cyst now. That was a while back. So she used to be cisgendered. So yeah, Kate Beckinsale's in the hospital. All the best to her. She seems like a genuinely nice person, and she's still really hot. So call me Kate. I'll help you massage your back and do all sorts of nasty things. I have a special back formula because baby got back. Yeah, I'm a bad person. But she's not Asian. I know, she's a rare exception. There aren't a whole lot of non-Asian women that I find to be very attractive, but she is one of them. The Chamber of Pharaohs? That's awesome. Yeah, well, if you're going to name it something awesome, you know? Hey, Pete, how you doing, man? Let me pin my stuff up there. Because my system was acting up, I didn't have a chance to do the stuff I usually do backstage. That was so annoying. All right, so I apologize again for being late, you guys. I don't like doing that, especially because it won't let me like say anything because I couldn't get to my my screen, so I couldn't type in anything and I couldn't tweet anything, and it's awful. Well, let's talk some Knights of the Old Republic. I know some of you guys are video game players. They're remaking Star Wars Knights of the Old Republic. And this article comes from Cosmic Book News. So, Star Wars apparently might still be woke. Oh, for fuck's sake. What the hell just happened there? Alright, Disney Star Wars looks to continue with its woke approach to the material with the remake of the popular Knights of the Old Republic video game, which follows the release of the new trilogy, which tanked the franchise and saw merchandise sales crash, as well as the firing of Gina Carano from The Mandalorian. Apparently, there's a teaser trailer out. I don't care. Go away, Jimmy Johns. Twitter uses Data Tracer, or Data Racer. Twitter user Data Racer points out that Knights of the Old Republic video game remake is being written by Sam Meggs, who apparently isn't a big fan of the original game. As tweets unearthed reveal, Meggs stating it's not a favorite. Sound familiar, He-Man fans? Now, if you don't know, Sam Meggs apparently used to work for the Mary Sue. So you can kind of get the idea of what to expect here. Hey, Spittlebug. The remake looks good based on the trailer alone. Oh, you may think a little differently in a minute here. Well, Jack, every time I see Asians on the Christian Science Monitor, I hear your voice in the background saying, "Hi, Mr. Jack." Thanks for ruining that for me. No problem. More from me. I'm a giver like that. The official info released by Lucasfilm sees the developers offering the remake requires a talented team that understands the original game at a deep level. Balls deep. But we see that isn't the case with Sam Meggs, who obviously isn't a fan of the original. Additional tweets from the writer show Sam Meggs attacking fans over Star Wars, The Last Jedi, and Rey. Quote, "If you want to hate Rey, at least be honest about it. You hate that she's a Mary Sue because she's a woman. It's cool, just be real about it. The Last Jedi, men screw literally everything up every time," states another tweet. "The Last Jedi, please listen to the powerful queer women for once in your ding-dang life." Ding-dang life, huh? All right. "And none of the Star Wars toys are closed at the Disney store separated by gender." Why would they be? They're all unisex. And kids are generally not needing gendered clothes. They just grow out of them in a week anyway. Another pair of alarming tweets shows the writer wearing a Star Wars is for Everyone t-shirt where she tweets, "Aesthetic, die mad about it," and where she attacks Star Wars fans. LMAO, "Our bros really mad Rey is a Mary Sue, laughing my ass off." Also, as pointed out by Data Racer, this new version of the game is not a reboot or a remaster, but is getting remade for modern audiences, which, of course, more than likely means changing the original game and replacing things with woke, politically correct content. More on that below. I suggest Mags read the piece at THR by the creator behind the popular Cobra Kai series on Netflix about how to deal with original IP and fans. Oh, this guy had a lot of free time. Woof. They've specifically said Knights of the Old Republic remake, not a remaster. Lead producer said remade for modern audience with necessary changes and updates. You know exactly what that means. I tend to agree that does typically mean bad things these days. Yeah, and hiring a few game story writers for the thousands of lines of dialogue. What do you mean rewrite? It's already been written. Yeah, well, suck it up. That's going to be a big rainbow sword in the end. Star Wars Knights of the Old Republic remade for a modern audience means woke, politically correct approach. The official announcement from Lucasfilm also confirms they're rebuilding the game from the ground up for a modern audience. Our big goals on this are to bring a story to a modern audience and have it just as impactful today as it was for players when it originally launched, said Ryan Treadwell, lead producer of Asper. A producer at Lucasfilm also confirmed they're destroying the original game for new audiences. Woke material. We've been working really closely with Asper for a long time now to deconstruct what made Knights of the Old Republic so great and bring that back to new audiences. How can you bring something back to new audiences? Nice sentence. Because we want this game to be an incredible RPG. Orrin Kellogg, executive producer at Lucasfilm, said. We want this game to be just as beloved as it was before. Some of my favorite meetings to have in my week right now are to get into the nitty-gritty with Asper and talk about why did we make that choice in the original game and how does that play today? How do we expand that choice and make it even more meaningful and impactful? Well, it needs gaze, obviously. We think about literally every word of dialogue and other choices down to the clothes the characters are wearing. Get ready for some shaved sides of the head. That's an abrupt end to that article. But yeah, that does make me a little nervous whenever they talk about reworking things for modern audiences. So I don't know if this is going to go woke or not. It wouldn't surprise me the way things are going, but you never know. Fresh look ruined the plot. Yeah, that's usually what it means. Phantom SJW Market. Yep, that's what I always hear when I see that. Terrible Mary Sue character. Yeah, she was totally cute. She had a cute little smile and a cute look to her. I feel bad for her because she gets shit on and blamed for a lot of stuff she had no control over. She's just an actress. Yeah, well, Star Wars isn't allowed to be for toxic men. Yeah, it'll totally be woke. You're not wrong. How's it going, Merle? All right. I gotta open something else here. We're gonna have some fun later at near the end of the show, where I got this really lovely article about woke RPGs, and we're gonna look at the big scary list and how they broke stuff down. It's gonna be fun. All right, let's talk about New Warriors, because why not? A little nervous. She worked for the Mary Sue. How is she being let near anything? Because the Mary Sue is actually considered very woke. And, wokeness is what they think is the hot market. So why wouldn't they want somebody like that? Why did that shrink down? I'm touching buttons again. Yeah, so the New Warriors comic never got released, at least not yet. But the TV show did get canceled. And let's find out why they think that was. From Bounding into Comics, New Warriors showrunner claims show was canceled because it was too gay. Yeah, not because it sucked. New Warriors showrunner Kevin Beagle claimed the Marvel show was canceled because the show was too gay. Posted a slew of information about the show to his Twitter that included behind-the-scenes shots as well as images of Milana Vern Trump as Squirrel Girl. That's the cute girl that plays Lily in the, what are they, AT&T commercials or whatever. He first posted, feeling frisky, may do something uncouth. That sounds gross. He then declared the show was canceled because the executive thought it was too gay. Well, there's always that possibility. What did you at least guess? Buttons consent before you touch them? No, they're not living creatures. Don't be gay and you'll get renewed. Hate fact. There's a show we wrote a few years ago. It was very proudly gay. Very, very proudly gay. A singular power that B killed the show because it was too gay. A rich, straight Brentwood turd. He got fired for being vile at his company. We, on the other hand, live. Well, clearly the show did not. Because if he got fired and you did not, you would have a show. Ah, damn it. Stop that. He then reiterated, it would have meant the world to us. Sadly, we didn't get to share it with you. If this was a show, the show was crap situation, I'd totally shut up and never speak. Bullshit. You're always looking for a reason. People like this always are. Fortunately, this was a high-level exec with an agenda. He got fired. I still miss our show. And a subsequent tweet, Beagle, I don't know what his name is. I have nights where I can't fall asleep because I'm so mad. I get so mad we couldn't have characters say stuff like this because of one executive who, though we were making a show that was messy. Now that's a different thing entirely. A messy show means it's disorganized and it lacks consistency. That's not saying your show's too gay. That's saying your show sucks. That's a completely different thing. Sorry, not sorry. New Warriors would have been really great. I wish we could have gotten to it to y'all. If you're not Southern, don't say y'all. He also shared part of the script that reads, as far as I could tell, I'm the only one like me. Black, queer, powered. When I was a kid, I didn't have anyone like me to look up to tell me things were going to be okay. Maybe I could be that person for some little girl out there. First of all, that's creepy. Second of all, that's shit dialogue. Who talks like that in real life? Ugh. Gross. Lazy. Kind of sounds pervy. Why is this up? Go away, Burger King. I don't want your shit. Beagle would then claim that he would not be deleting any of his tweets. However, he deleted them all. Good job. Hero, fuck it. I'm not deleting shit. I love our characters. I love Marvel. I love the new Warriors in all their forms. I doubt that. This show would make the world better, even a little bit. Thanks for following all my BS posts. We love you. You sound annoying. In another tweet he added, I love our show. I love our cast. I love that our show says all outcasts and weirdos are welcome. What? This is not the new Warriors. The world is terrifying right now. I'd rather share our joy than be too scared to share it. Doing the right thing in the face of criticism is what the new Warriors are all about. You make it sound like the show's still going to get made. Beagle then proceeded to share a bunch of videos from the set, although he has since deleted those tweets, probably because he doesn't own any of the video. However, he shared some set photos from the show where the team is in a bar called Fabian's. He noted the bar was named after Deadpool's creator, Fabian Nicieza. There's Lily. She's cute. I don't know who this is. That Gal Gadot? Because she's kind of... Yeah, Gal Gadot. She's hot. I'd bang both of them. Why not? He also shared a photo of Vane Trub as Squirrel Girl and Derek Thieler as Mr. Immortal. He wrote, Squirrel Girl and Mr. Immortal, did we take cues from the Great Lakes Avengers? We took a ton of cues from the Great Lakes Avengers. Yeah, because you have two characters from the Great Lakes Avengers on there, Mr. Immortal and Squirrel Girl. And then, remember, this was supposed to be a sitcom. Tony, I don't know. They have to recast Chloe Bennett because it sounds like she dropped out because that thing was so crap. New Kim Possible live action. Oh, God. They made that live action? Why? Beagle then reiterated the show was axed by one executive, tweeting, thank you for the kind words. Our new Warrior show. It would have been totally different than any superhero show ever up to this point. I mean, sure, someone is going to do something akin to us at some point. There have been superhero comedies before. There was a British one a few years back. And then there was like My Secret Identity with the fat kid from Stand By Me, Jerry Connell. And to be clear, yeah, we got killed by one exec. Fuck him. Good night. All right. He said goodnight, and he shared a bunch of Squirrel Girl pics. She looks cute in the outfit, you know. She looks less retarded than Squirrel Girl here. It looks like they were going with more of the original Squirrel Girl look instead of special needs Doreen here. And since it's a low budget comedy, yeah, it's a little over the top. I think she looks cute though. When Beagle claims the show was axed by an executive because it was too gay, CBR reported that a Marvel spokesman denied these claims, telling CBR the company was fully supportive of the show and that after Freeform and other distributors passed, the project did not move forward. Freeform is like the grade D of production channels, your budget is going to be nothing if you're on Freeform. If you don't believe me, look up Cloak and Dagger or any other show that was over on Freeform. It's where shows go to die on tiny budgets. New Warriors was originally produced by Marvel Television and developed for Freeform and had a straight-to-series order in 2017. However, by November 2017, The Hollywood Reporter noted the show would not be airing on Freeform and that had been and it was being shopped around. By 2019, it was reported by GWW that the show was officially dead. Yeah, the show was dead long before 2019. Once Freeform turned it down, it was hard to shop it to anywhere else because it was basically developed for Freeform. So it was dead in 2017. And it's been way too long. That show's not coming back. Misfits, was that the name of it? Cloak and Dagger was ass. The guy, like the chick Tandy that plays Dagger, she almost gets raped and she tries to tell Cloak about it. And his excuse is, well, you're not black. You don't know what it's like. And I was like, oh my God, that's stupid. Yeah, she is too hot. Well, Squirrel Girl originally was supposed to be kind of this cute girl that was just kind of a worthless character and kind of had a stupid power. But they turned her into that retarded looking thing that still floats around somewhere in the Marvel universe. But that was not how she originally looked, was retarded. She was originally just this cute girl with a stupid power that was part of Great Lakes Avengers. The Great Lakes Avengers were a bunch of outcasts who were really weird powers, but some of them were really useful, like Mr. Mortal and Doorman had some really cool abilities that really they just treated it. They were joke characters, so they never got serious treatment. From 2000s to oh yeah, the British superhero comedy show. Yeah, there was one about a middle-aged British guy who was a superhero. I forget the name of it. Misfits, I vaguely remember that, but I can't picture it in my head. While we're in between articles, have you seen the new Matrix trailer? Yes, and I thought it looked okay. It looks like a reboot, but I'll probably go see it. I like Keanu Reeves, and I like the first Matrix, but the second and third one were fucking horrible. The first movie I liked because I really liked Dreamscape and what's the other movie? Dark City. And it was an amalgamation of those. The original PPG, I'm not interested in a reboot SJW BS, right? Cloak in the comics would have ended her attacker. That's the depths of their codependency. Yeah, you're not wrong, James. And that storyline was taken from the comics. This drug dealer tries to rape Tandy, and they end up putting the beat down on him. But they were runaway kids. They were just street kids, so they didn't exactly have a lot of allies, so they had to work together. They really destroyed all of that in the TV show and made it woke nonsense. Sitcom of an insurance company in the DC universe. Sitcoms in the superhero world have been tried before. Yep. They were going to do a Damage Control TV show over at Marvel, and Damage Control are the people that clean up after all the superhero battles. You mean, yeah, random. That was Courtney Cox in Misfits of Science. She went on to do that Friends TV show that nobody watched. My Hero, yes. Yeah, that was it, Deckfish. It was called My Hero. It did look like a reboot, essentially, and it looks like Neo and Trinity are going to fall in love all over again. Yeah, it looks like she's still alive from the trailer, so good video on it. Ingrid died, and then she dies because he's... Huh. That would have been cool. Yeah, the original Bill Manslow stories from Cloak and Dagger were really good. But after he left the book, I think that was around the time of his car accident where he got hit by a car and got his care facility. When he left the book, they didn't really know how to handle those characters, so they pop up every now and then. The last time they were good was in like Strange Tales back in like 88, 89, somewhere in there. And that series only lasts like 17 issues. Good series, though. I got to dig those out. I got a set of those somewhere. Matrix will be interesting for sure. I saw Twitter blow up about it, claiming it wasn't green enough. Yeah, probably. People complain about the dumbest crap. I've seen trailers for way worse stuff. Speaking of trailers, let's talk about the King of Porn. Totally unrelated, but I didn't have a good segue there. Yeah, Ginger, I can understand that. All right, this comes from The Dirt. King of Porn sells $26.3 million Beverly Hills mansion to Vitamin Guru. I just thought that was weird that, because, that place probably needs a deep cleaning. I bet 1 billion pornos were filmed there. So I can't pronounce his name or really their last name, but 26.3 million. It was built in 2013. It's 19,000 square feet, 7 bedrooms, 12 bathrooms on a 0.61 acre lot. He's a self-made billionaire who once ranked as the 3rd richest man in Hungary and founder of several companies, chief among them livejasmine.com, network that specializes in steamy camera action and other pornographic content. But one task that proved uncharacteristically difficult for Gregory, something I can't pronounce, was unloading his lavish Beverly Hills home, which languished on and off the market for a whopping 3.5 years. Until last month, that is, when the nearly 20,000 square foot behemoth finally sold for $26.3 million. While it's less than the original $30 million asking price, the sale still is a nice chunk above the $20.9 million that he paid for it in 2016. Yeah, I don't blame him for just cutting his losses. It's been on the market for 3.5 years. Come on. I probably would have sold for less than that, actually. Records indicate the buyers are David and Mary Ruth Guillaume. She's the CEO and founder of Mary Ruth Organics Vitamin Company. He's the chief growth officer, who is also one of the world's leading Kabbalah teachers. So not only do they do a little bit of woo, they're hardcore into it. Kabbalah? Ugh. Founded in 2014 and rapidly growing, Mary Ruth Organics peddles liquid vegan vitamins and gummies that are targeted primarily at children and is now Amazon's #1 bestseller in the space. Last month, the firm received a cash infusion from a new private equity partner. So they're sitting on a pile of money. So why not buy a really expensive house? So your husband can teach Kabbalah. Built in 2013, the pseudo-French villa sits on a desirable... Oh, who cares? Let's just look at this cool house. I really just like looking at pictures of other people's houses. And this is a mildly convenient way to do so on air. Chief Growth Officer? Yeah, boners. Puts wieners and stuff. Don't get a black light, right? That's what I'm saying. That place has got to be disgusting. Couch cleaning service not included, right? All right, so check out this place. Looks pretty nice, right? This is the back. Here's the pool. It's a pretty lavish looking place. It's a little too close to the neighbors, though. Here's your entryway, your foyer. Every single one of these is filled with other people's semen. I bet. You sit down and your pants get wet and you just have to burn your clothes. And that white, that was originally wood panel. It's all spooge. This looks really nice, this library area. It's got a little bar area here too. So you got a little library bar, a lot of bookshelves, big fireplace. That does look really cool. Again, loaded with jizz, I bet. You know how this is held together? It's not with glue. It's man glue. See, this is a nice looking place. I hate that light fixture. I'd take that outside and break it. No, that is hideous 70s shit. Whatever you're thinking when you put that up, that's probably lighting for porn. I don't know. But yeah, this looks really nice. I don't like the color scheme too much, but there's worse. Oh, the one of those fridges you can see into. And then you get this big pool back here. Look, it's got little fountain things. A lot of people probably banged in there. That's just filled with squirt from a bunch of whores. Look at that. You got a little jacuzzi here that 1,000 people have had sex in. A little swing where the camera guy can relax while filming all the chicks squirting. This is just squirt fluid. Yeah. Look at that. All these windows. Ugh. Your maid must hate you. I always worry about these marble bathrooms because marble is very, very slippery. Like for all angles, that's true, Deckfish. Yeah, Greg, you're not wrong. Rented houses and Airbnbs. Free DNA samples for anyone. Yeah, you get murdered in there, nobody's ever going to be able to solve that mystery. Pool needs new filters. Oh, understatement, dude. We had to sell the house. Every guest we ever had over became pregnant somehow, right? Yeah, but marble always worries me as a flooring. You'd have to put some non-slip stuff around, some throw rugs. Plus, what the hell is this thing? It looks like a giant cotton swab. Did the cops leave that when they were swabbing for DNA? Yeah, it's a beautiful house, but I think I'd use like 4 rooms in this entire place. And then I'll be on the first floor. Because it's just, that's too much space. You're just showing off with your money at this point. Although a billiards table would be pretty sweet. I'm terrible at pool, but I like playing occasionally. Look at that, wine racks. I don't know. I'm a big fan of the wine storage. Like this should have a door or something to kind of keep from showing off. This is inviting burglary, is what this is, because all these wines are probably pretty expensive. If you got enough money to drop 30 million on a house, or even 20 million, like this guy did, you have a lot of money to buy really fancy wines, and somebody will break in just for that shit. Because that's easy to fence, I'd imagine. Oh, built-in theater. I don't like this step. That should be an incline, in my opinion. Because some drunk's gonna trip on that and break their leg and sue you. But I don't like these couch things either. That doesn't look very comfortable. And there's nowhere to put a drink. I don't see any arm rests or anything either. So am I supposed to just rest my arms on my fat gut? No thanks. But I do like the idea of an in-home theater, so I don't have to really leave the house. It's got its own private gym. That's pretty cool. Although, do you really need 2 of these? Pelotons? Those are subscription services. And why do you have steps up going outside? That seems weird to have that design like that. Anyway, there's multi-car garage. I count 4 vehicles in there. One way over here. 2. Looks like one back here. That's pretty cool. This would be a really bad area. You'd want some cameras up here and a lot of automatic lights. Because some guy will come down here, and then when you're coming in, you're going to get to about here, activate the garage door at the latest, and he's going to run in and rob you. And you'll probably want a privacy gate back here, too. See, there's your power system, too. So, yeah, that's too close to that window. Now, that's convenience for breaking and entering. They shut that off and then go in your window. But yeah, that's a beautiful building. Again, I would probably want to disinfect every single inch of this place, but good on the King of Porn from Hungary for making this. I've seen the ads for Live Jasmine. They pop up all the time when I'm watching X videos. I mean, researching things on the internets. And yeah, good on him. He's made a bunch of money off a bunch of cam whores. Yeah, either way, Merle. This is a porn. King of Porn from Hungary sold his house to a vitamin guru. They make Mary Ruth organics, and apparently some of the organics are going to involve some old jizz stains. So I just thought that was cool. It's an interesting headline to read about how a guy that makes porn sold his home to an organic vitamin guru. I don't know why I found that funny. All right, let's talk about the Shang-Chi's. Lots of lies. Yeah, right? Yeah, on the Christian Science Monitor. Hey, Wandering Lisa, how you doing? So the Shang-Chi movie is allegedly doing great. I don't know about that. 80 million didn't seem like a spectacular opening weekend. But the media is puffing it up pretty good. Now, a little bit of interesting news was kind of coming under the radar today. This from Bounding into Comics. Shang-Chi unlikely to get Chinese release after Simu Liu's comments about communist China resurface. So that's this guy here. He plays Shang-Chi. I don't know who she is. I don't care. Marvel Studios is unlikely to get Chinese box office release for their latest release, Shang-Chi and the Legend of the Ten Rings, after the film's lead actor saw his comments about communist China resurface. Deadline's Nancy Tartaglini reports the prospect for Marvel's Shang-Chi getting a China release are dwindling. Oh, fuck off with your pop-ups. Jeez. The reason being for his comments about China in an interview he did with Canadian Broadcasting Corporation back in 2017. So these are old comments, too. As Taiwan News reports, the Weibo account of the Chinese nationalist organization DIBA posted screenshots from a CBC interview with the actor from the series What's Your Story, released on March 3rd, 2017. The screenshots show Liu describing that China his parents lived in as the third world. They lived in the third world, right there. Where you have people dying of starvation. Don't eat starvation, then. Interestingly enough, the original interview with the CBC has been removed from the organization's website, and it appears to have been removed sometime in either early 2021 or late 2020, as Taiwan News notes that archived versions, including the video, appear up until November 2020. Disney probably went out, bought the rights to that interview, and had it removed. They're like, we own that now, fuck off with this. That's what I would suspect happened. Liu was cast as Shang-Chi at Comic-Con 2019. The film's director, Destin Daniel Cretton, introducing the actor on stage, saying it's Hugh. I don't give a fuck about that. The movie was already on rocky ground on whether or not it would release in China. Back in May, a report from Variety claimed the film might get banned in China after CCTV 6 China movie channel omitted both Eternals and Shang-Chi from an upcoming list of Marvel Phase 4 films. Not surprising. It's also got a lot of mysticism elements, and that doesn't really go over well in China these days. Variety's Rebecca Davis explained why the omission was significant. Yeah, I don't care. It's propaganda. Whatever. The film currently earned $105.9 million at a domestic box office and $56 million on the international box office. That barely made budget. That was barely the movie budget. Because the movie budget was $150 million, and they spent $162 million, or rather, they earned $162 million in box office. However, it appears the film's legs are already fading fast, as the film's box office haul on Tuesday and Wednesday is less than Black Widow's haul. That's not a good sign. Brought in $6 million on Tuesday, $4 million on Wednesday. Black Widow brought in $7 million on its first Tuesday, and $5 million on its first Wednesday. So it's already losing interest. But this old interview, he says a lot of things that are very unpopular about how his parents had to struggle and to eat. And he moved to Canada when he was like 5 or something like that. So, yeah, he's just telling his parents' story. And they don't like honesty over there in the CCP. Trent, he's actually an honest reporter. Yeah, I think he does a pretty good job. So from porn to a film's opening scenes, a natural transition. Well, they're both film related and artistic, I would say. One involves shit and the other one's porn. So it counts on the fall off, how screwed it is. Yeah, you're not wrong, BG. I don't think this movie's going to make its money back because they typically spend at least the same amount as the budget to promote the film. So this is not the Avengers, so they probably spent a lot more than that. But you saw all the ads popping up on YouTube videos, all the hype that was around it, and it just didn't really get any ground. It's barely made its budget back, and it's got to make probably another $300 million before it becomes actually profitable. All right, let me move that out of the way. All right. Well, let's talk about Linda Kahn. You may not know the name, but you probably know her work. Same porn does involve shit. Well, you know, there's a lot of that around. Oh, fucking ads. Hang on. Got a pop-up issue here. Okay. All right. Linda Kahn, veteran television producer, executive, dies at 72. Oh, man. Her age was never kind to her. That's Lee Grant and Sandra Bernhardt. She was always ugly. I don't know who Lee Grant is. Linda Kahn, pictured here, who worked for nearly 4 decades in children's television as an executive with such companies as Nickelodeon, MTV, and Scholastic Media, died. She was 72. Kahn died August 30 in New York of complications from metastatic breast cancer. Get checked, ladies. Longtime friend and publicist Cheryl Johnston announced. Kahn spent 12 years in senior executive positions at Nickelodeon and MTV networks starting in 1983, then worked for Scholastic Media from 1995 to 2008. She also served as board president of the New York Women in Film and Television from 2003 to 2005. 2008, she formed Linda Kahn Media, a global consulting firm dedicated to forging businesses and creative partnerships in all aspects of children's media, as well as entertainment for general audiences. Since 2010, she worked with Matt Kaplowitz at Bridge Multimedia, where as director of programming, she was instrumental in making educational children's television program and gaming accessible to blind, visually impaired, and disabled students through the New York Institute for Special Ed. She was born in 1954, a master's degree. She taught English. VP of acquisitions for Nickelodeon, she pioneered program acquisitions for the network and was instrumental in the launch of Nick at Night. As senior VP in international program sales, she initiated and built Nickelodeon's television syndication and format sales worldwide, introduced such original series as Rugrats, Ren and Stimpy, and Doug to the global children's television market, and worked with networks around the world to customize Nickelodeon game show formats to local markets, with the BBC, like the BBC with Double Dare and ITV with Finders Keepers. Created several successful series based on Nick formats. So, like, the British version of Double Dare is different than the American one. So that's what she did. She made it localized so you would see people from your native country on there. She went on to become senior VP of TV sales and merchandising at Scholastic Media, leading international customer products and promotional activities for such properties as Word Girl, Maya and Miguel, Clifford the Big Red Dog, Horrible Histories, Stella Luna, The Magic School Bus, Animorphs, and Goosebumps. Kahn also spearheaded the branding distribution of Scholastic video collections and created a line based on Weston Wood's library of best-selling picture books. You get the idea. She did a lot of stuff that brought the world things like Rugrats and Ren and Stimpy, and nobody cared about Doug. Fuck Doug, he's stupid. But a lot of that was her doing. A lot of the localized game show type programs for kids. So, yeah, she did a lot. No, she's not the one that gave Power Rangers a go. Random. Sorry, that was Saban. So I thought that was kind of sad. She influenced a lot of little kids. And a lot of those shows were not SJW crap. Dude, come on. Come on, screen. Work. All right. Let's see, somebody else died too. Yeah, here we go. All right, let's get the deaths out of the way. What's wrong with Doug? They had a lot of hope in that show. Yeah, that kid was annoying. He had an annoying voice. He looked like he smelled. Stuff like that. I didn't like him. Didn't trust him. Criminal head shape. Matthew Mindler, our idiot brother actor, found dead at 19 after going missing at college. This is not him. Obviously, that's Paul Rudd. Former child star actor Matthew Mindler, who starred in Our Idiot Brother, was found dead after being missing since Thursday. He was 19. This is a couple days old now. August 29th. Yeah. Mindler was enrolled in Millersville University in Pennsylvania, which reported him missing on Thursday after he didn't return to his room Tuesday evening. University president Daniel Wuba announced Saturday that Mindler had been found dead. Mindler's body was discovered in a wooded area near campus, according to the university spokesman Janet Kaxkos. Get names I can pronounce, people. Smith and Jones. This is a time for grief for the family, our campus community. Waba wrote in a letter to Twitter. I think campus community. All right, whatever. There was no cause of death given, but the university said Mindler's body was transported to the Lancaster County Forensic Center for further investigation. It was probably drugs, let's be honest. Mindler from Hellerton, Pennsylvania, was a first-year student in the university. He was last seen walking from his dorm Tuesday evening. University police filed a missing adult form Thursday after he didn't attend any of his clues for the rest of the week. More than 40 search and rescue team members were dispatched to find him. That's tragic. He was very young. Before attending the university, he appeared in multiple TV shows and movies as a child actor, including As the World Turns, Late Show with David Letterman, and Last Week Tonight with John Oliver. Yeah, here's his missing poster. In 2011, Mindler portrayed the role of River alongside Paul Rudd in the comedy Our Idiot Brother. His most recent role in 2016, according to IMDb, when he played the role of Peter in TV's Chad in American Boy. Well, apparently that just abruptly ends. So, yeah, he could have been absconded with. I don't know if there were any smiley faces around there, so they could pin that on the smiley face killers. If you don't know what that conspiracy is, look it up. It's pretty crazy. Or if he went missing 411 or something like that. But I haven't been able to find an update on his cause of death. But I probably will look into this further, because whenever they don't tell you, it always makes me suspicious. Yeah, he did look like Paul Rudd. Drugs at a university? That seems unlikely. I know. Yeah, it could have been a suicide. I'm not sure. This is just a paid pretender. Well, I don't know. We don't know what killed the kid, so it's sad, but you know, there might be more to the story that they're just not telling us. In which case, it was probably drugs. It could have been a suicide. It could have been a murder. I don't know. But I haven't seen anything else on it. I'm going to look up some more on it later and see what I can find out, because those always leave me interested. Hey, Lester, how you doing, man? It's always sad when young people die, though. Let's talk about another death. This one, a little more expected, I would say. This is from Screen Rant. Tiger King zookeeper Erik Cowie found dead in New York. Erik Cowie, who appeared on Netflix's Tiger King as the head zookeeper at Joe Exotic's Wynyard Animal Park, was found dead in New York City. Zookeeper Erik Cowie, who appeared in several episodes of the docuseries, was found dead inside a New York residence. Oh my God, what is with all the pop-ups? He was 52 years old. Cowie appeared in the Netflix Tiger King, Murder, Mayhem, and Madness, which focused on a big cat breeder, Joe Exotic, and his longtime feud with wildlife activist Carol Baskin. E-Online reports that Cowie was found dead in the bedroom of an NYC residence. It doesn't say it was in his residence. NYPD did not confirm his identity as authorities are waiting to identify him pending family notification. His cause of death has not been verified and will be determined by a medical examiner. It's unclear who owned the residence or why Cowie was in the city. He's reportedly working as a cook at a local restaurant in Oklahoma after leaving Greater Wynn Exotic Animal Park. Cowie previously was the head zookeeper following Exotic's arrest in 2019 of a murder-for-hire plot against Baskin. Cowie was outspoken about his former boss's treatment of the animals on the property. He accused Exotic, real name Joseph Maladano, Passage, of shooting tigers to create more cage space at the facility. That's fucked up. Since Exotic's arrest, Carol Baskin's Big Cat Rescue was awarded control over his Wynwood Zoo in 2020. She sold the property with provisions that it could not be used as a zoo for the next 100 years. Cowie said on Tiger King that he went to work at GW Zoo because he was kind of at the end of his ropes. While he didn't have experience working with large animals, he found a connection with the tigers and enjoyed working with them. So this guy, from what I saw of the show, I didn't see the whole thing. He seemed like he had a pretty messed up life, so this really wasn't that unexpected for me, but whatever. What kind of meat was he serving? You don't ask those questions. If you don't know, you don't eat it. Shio! How you doing, man? They don't list the cause of death is generally suicide, followed by murder, followed by monsters, and then probably drugs. So until they tell me otherwise, that's what I assume. The native lesbian chick who lost an arm, she had fun friends, very fun friends. Nice. Yeah, she was kind of, there were a couple people on there that I was like, you do some sit-ups, you could be kind of hot. Everyone who worked there had a messed up life. That doesn't surprise me. People like Joe Exotic, who tend to be a little outside the box, let's say, they draw other people like that to them because they can relate. So you end up with facilities like that. You never know, Assassin. You never know. Shouldn't be out tormenting children with your healers that do superpowers. You leave Shio alone, Ryan. He didn't do nothing. He's a good boy. No arm army. So I thought that was interesting that nobody's really talking too much about this guy dying. And Tiger King is still a bit of a cultural phenomenon. They were homeless on the verge of it, drug habits, drinking, fleeing the law. Yeah, okay. That they tend to congregate together in groups, and willing to look the other way to some bad work practices or unsafe working environments, things like that. So you seek people out like that if you want to be a little shady. And since I haven't done this in a while, there's a chance I can still have a cult. There's always a chance you can start a cult, James. Well, it sounds like you had a good time, Oki. All right, let's talk about SJW's being dumb. So this guy, pro-life libertarian comedian Josh Denny, this article comes from Bleeding Fool. He said some things that were apparently somewhat controversial. The article comes from September 5th, so it's a few days old. And here's a picture of him here. He looks kind of like Copper Cab. He made some tweets about the Texas abortion ban, and people followed him, hounded him, and called him racist, making threats. And they said they were going to get his Food Network show canceled. Slight problem with that. It was already canceled. Felix. Yeah, Shio, I have had those kind of days before. Right, comrade? So yeah, they tried to threatened to cancel the show he already had canceled. He's a stand-up comedian who's best known as host of the Food Network series Ginormous Food, which ran from 2017 until 2020. He was also has 2 comedy albums, Honest Brutally and Social Hand Grenades. And he has appeared as an actor, writer, numerous blah, 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 whatever. The guy's got a career, right? He said some things, and people got pissy. Simple Google search regarding and reading the first article that comes up would quickly reveal this to anyone with a brain. Yeah, well, that's who you're up against, Josh. Idiots. So, yeah, it is funny that the people that want to shut everybody down always have bumper stickers that say coexist. So, yeah, they tried to cancel this guy's show that ended over a year ago. That's just sad. But also very funny. The straight white male has become this century's N-word. It's used to offend and diminish the recipient based on assumption and bias, no difference in the usage. You're not wrong, Josh. My point is, when you call someone this in conversation, you know exactly what you're doing, attempting to devalue their point of view based on negative cultural stereotypes. That's racism. Oh, I'm surprised you get knocked off Twitter for that. But yeah, I thought that was funny. They tried to cancel a guy whose show was already canceled. Show was already done over a year ago. They literally just had to look that up. But I guess when you're that stupid and blinded by your anger, that's what happens. You're not wrong, Shio. They do that a lot. If Copper Cap and Seth Rogen had a baby. Yeah, that would be a horrifying event if they did that. Seth Rogen I do not find funny. I think he's kind of annoying. All right. Let's see here. What shall we do next? Yes. Let's talk about Webtoons. Wait, what's this? How you feeling about the vaccine crap? I don't really want to get into that on this show. This is the wrong venue for that. I'm already mad enough. All right. DC announces its first webtoon with Batman Wayne Family Adventures. So DC is partnering with Webtoons to do a webtoon series, which they know nothing about, from what I can tell. And the first one's going to be about the wacky stuff that happens at Wayne Manor. Oh, look at this. Oh, it's so wacky looking. Why is he this shade of ambiguous brown and has lipstick on? DC launched its first ever webtoon titled Batman Wayne Family Adventures, the first publication in a new partnership between the companies. It finds the Dark Knight needing a break, but with the newest addition to the Bat family, Duke Thomas, moving into Wayne Manor to join an endless supply of adopted, fostered, and biological vigilante children. Bruce Wayne finds himself with his hands full. Is being a father harder than being Batman? Readers will find out in the first episode of Batman Wayne Family Adventures, available later today. This is 2 days ago. The creative team on Batman Wayne Family Adventures includes lead artist Ink's Starbite, writer C.R.C. Payne, storyboards by Maria Lee, backgrounds by Lan Ma, lettering by something, coloring by C.M. Cameron, I don't know, Camille Cruz, and Gene Kim, with Susan Chang as creative producer and Will Kennedy as associate producer. Why do you need all these people to do a fucking webtoon? The DC Webtoon partnership was announced earlier this month, and Wayne Family Adventures is the first of many standalone webcomics in the DCEU that have yet to be published on the platform and don't require any previous reading. Webtoon is a mobile storytelling app and is currently the world's leading digital storytelling platform. I know some Russian download sites that would probably disagree with you. With over 72 million active users on average. It's a Korean website, so they tend to favor the Korean stuff. So there's that too. Yeah, this stuff's free, but most of it's crap. Collaboration with DC Comics comes with the hope that Webtoon will introduce these iconic characters to a new generation of comic readers. How are you introducing Batman to new readers by doing this wacky sitcom thing? This, I don't know, what is this, like Full House or something? Webtoon also has partnerships with other partnerships, including Legendary POW, Top Cow Image, and more. Is this like a Happy Days thing? This is fucking dumb. DC is excited to introduce our iconic characters to a new generation of fans worldwide. We're looking closer with Webtoon. Okay, yeah, standard boilerplate shit. This is one of the many releases that DC has planned for its celebration of Batman Day 2021 on September 18th, including the debut of Batman the Audio Adventures and a custom Batman comic with FaZe Clan. You're reaching. You are really reaching if you're making comics with fucking esports retards. To be available for Webtoon starting at 10 a.m. Pacific time. Oh, look at that. There's Alfred. I'm guessing that's Dick Grayson or Jason Blood. I don't know. It's probably supposed to be Jason Todd. There's Bruce, Duke Thomas, Orphan. Yeah, I still don't know why he's this shade of brown. That's weird. Oh, there's Tim. He's probably trying to give him oral or something. Justice runs in the family. Oh, spoilers in it too. This just looks annoying. So yeah, that's a thing that's existing out there in the world. Wacky adventures. Look how wacky that looks, you guys. This art actually doesn't look too bad. And the screenshots I've seen from the show, the backgrounds are really light on detailing, if there's any in the background at all, which I get. They're doing this as like a daily thing. But this looks fucking dumb. Tower of God and Noblesse are great reads. Athena Complex, God of High School, good, but not the great level. Yeah, it's not terrible art. It's just, it doesn't look very interesting. I have a good one, Merle. Sounds like a Batman Kindergarten Cop crossover. Yeah, it kind of does. I just don't find this all that interesting. Looks kind of stupid. So that's the thing that's existing out there. DC's throwing a lot of Hail Marys to try and stay relevant, and I don't think it's going to work. I think they're just wasting a lot of time and money. It's not going to sell anything. All right, let's talk about Image Comics. 2020 was a slow year for my sex life. Things picked up again now that I'm back to in-person teaching. Good to know, Shio. Congratulations, I guess. No, Tony, we probably can't because the current writers do not understand why secret identities exist or how to use them. Because they're lazy, don't know their craft, and they're dumb. And they're usually not comic fans. They claim they are, but they're not. All right, this comes from ICV2. So I don't know if you do this, but Image is going to publish John Leguizamo's comic book, Phenomx. That's a real thing that's happening, featuring Latin superhero, Latin creators, and a variant covered by Todd McFarlane. And this dude has a really weird boob. All right, Image Comics today, this is from August 25th, announced it will publish Phenomx, a comic spearheaded by actor and comedian John Leguizamo that stars a Latin superhero and is produced by an all-Latin creative team. Bunch of people I don't care about from crap I don't care about. Todd McFarlane, who brought the project to Image, will also do a variant cover for the first issue. The story follows Max Gomez, a New Yorker who was racially profiled and later imprisoned for a crime he did not commit after taking part in a secret government experiment in exchange for his freedom. So he has Luke Cage's origin. He gains shape-shifting powers, but also becomes embroiled in a war that rages through the streets of the city. Leguizamo successfully crowdfunded the creation of the comic on the site Seed and Spark in 2019, but production was slowed by the coup In an update he posted to Instagram in March 2021, he said 3 issues were completed, a 4th nearly done, and a 5th would follow. Leguizamo and McFarlane first met on the set of the Spawn movie, in which Leguizamo played the clown. He did a good job in that role, I thought. Over 30 years later, in 2018, they reconnected at New York City Comic Con and decided to work together. Leguizamo is also the author of the autobiographical graphic novel Ghetto Clown, which was published in 2015. So he's racially profiled and thrown in jail for a crime he didn't commit. Was it a fashion crime with your 80s style mullet, dude? That looks like crap. And this boob thing looks really disproportionate to like the arm. I don't know what's happening there. I don't like that. Let's see if I can open that picture. The costume itself looks okay. Like purple camouflage is a weird thing, but whatever. Costume itself looks fine. It looks almost like a wetsuit kind of look. And he can shape shift. That's pretty cool power. But the whole racial profiling thing, it's going to be a bunch of like cops are evil crap that is tiresome and trite at this point. I might get the first issue just to see if it is better than what it's describing, but I doubt it will be. It's totally Luke Cage's origin. I'm sure DC knows they're in deep shit because of the merger. Yeah, they've been floundering, but they're still trying to replace all their characters. And it's really, really stupid. All the decisions that Daniel Cherry is making are ones that have already been tried and failed over at Marvel. And they're just doubling down on everything. But it's supposed to look like John Leguizamo. It's obviously a pastiche for him. Yeah, well, Trucker, we're all kind of tired of this shit, but because they just recycle ideas, they're just lazy. All right, let's talk about a new rumor of these from the DCEU from Warner Brothers. This comes from Bounding Into Comics. You guessed it right. Warner Brothers wants DCEU's Terry McGinnis to be a person of color in the live-action Batman Beyond. He's not even a redhead. In a scoop that won't surprise our readers, it said Warner Brothers is keen on finding an actor of an ethnic background to play Terry McGinnis in the live-action Batman Beyond project, rumored for HBO Max. According to sources close to Giant Freaking Robot, the casting decision for McGinnis will follow the spirit of the recent casting of Supergirl, Batgirl, and Hawkman in the recent DCEU, and they're going to look for someone of color though the specific ethnicity is undetermined presently. It sounds like the studio's plan at this point includes casting an actor of color, reads the report. Yeah, you can't have any evil whiteys in there. From what we've learned, it doesn't seem that they are set on any particular background, just non-white, apparently. Giant Freaking Robot adds, this leaves the casting call sheet for Batman Beyond very open. Why did they use this screenshot? That's okay. Open to accept one, that is. It would seem to knock Timothy Chalamet out of the running despite the Dune star being a favorite among fans and his rising star in Hollywood that is cultivating a specialty in genre blockbusters. It does exclude Timothy Chalamet from the role unless they have a major change of heart, said Giant Freaking Robot. Depending on how Doom performs when it's finally released, Warner Brothers may do a sharp U-turn to forget about injecting more diversity, but it's HBO Max, so the agenda might matter more. And I think we all know the agenda's going to win. She was only on set for 4 days. We talked about that last time. American crime writer John Ridley to write person of color Batman for DC Comics. He's the one writing the I Am Batman with the new race swap Batman. Race swapping Tim Drake for Titans didn't bother them. In fact, that casting choice is a bit of an afterthought on the show, as Tim hasn't been in very many episodes. Yeah, they've also recast Wally West on the Flash TV show as a black guy instead of the white redhead that we know from the comics. They did that with, I think, Jason Todd in Titans as black as well. What appears clearer from the footage is Batman Beyond is live action is the go-to excuse for keeping Michael Keaton around longer after the Flash is a memory. Keaton will reportedly stay on to mentor young heroes from Supergirl to Batgirl, and that's no better fit than Terry, as that it was the premise of the beloved animated series about Batman of Tomorrow. Yeah, that's the entire premise. And that was always the going theory, is that Michael Keaton would play an older Batman training Batman in Batman Beyond. The now 70-year-old actor is a natural fit and in prime position to leave a lasting legacy as an elder Bruce Wayne. Kevin Smith certainly got excited about the idea years ago when he was really talking about it. Yeah, he probably cried about it like a pussy, and he would have made it all like chicks now. As for what form that shall take, there isn't a firm indication of the live-action Batman Beyond will be a film or a series. It'll probably be a series. What might throw a wrench in this rumor is the fact that Terry McGinnis is the biological son of Bruce Wayne. Well, that's never stopped him. And that Terry's DNA was manipulated by Amanda Waller. So that's kind of the rumor going, is they're just looking to race swap him. And they'll probably write out the fact that he's Bruce's biological kid and make him another Fox kid or something like that. But it's not surprising. And I know there's 2 black characters on Titans that were race swapped. I thought Jason Todd was one, but maybe I'm wrong. They make the only girl, Robin, be non-binary and not a redhead. Yeah, well, you know, you gotta do what you gotta do. Let me. That's gonna bother me now. Let's find out. Titans. Yes. Well, that dude's got a giant head. Wow. Yeah, Tim Drake's black. Who am I thinking of? The guy that got playing Bruce Wayne looks really creepy. Nah, I don't know. Maybe I was thinking of Starfire. Whatever. I don't know. I've got that wrong. It beats me. I don't fucking know what I'm talking about half the time. All right, so that's a thing that's happening. Get ready for more race swapping, just because they can. Speaking of race swapping, though, pointlessly, because you can't have any white people in entertainment anymore. Hey, you can say my full name on stream. It'd make my night. Lou Sassel? Hi, Lou. Loose asshole? What? Is that racist that makes Black McGinnis not know his actual father? Probably, yeah. Oh, Blackfire's black too? Figures. Titans is actually pretty good. Couldn't watch it. I watched one episode with Hooker Starfire, and I was like, this is fucking dumb. I'm out. I just thought it was a little too CW, and I don't like those shows. I find them boring. They'll never do a white Black Panther. Are there any straight white characters left? They're trying real hard not to make it so. But let's go over to Cosmic Book News and look at Interview for a Vampire casting Jacob Anderson as Louis. See this pasty Brad Pitt looking motherfucker here? Because that is Brad Pitt. That's played by this guy now. The AMC Interview with the Vampire series has cast Jacob Anderson, known for playing Grey Worm in Game of Thrones, as Louis, the lead vampire. The Hollywood Reporter describes Louis in the series as a young man who is seduced in the world of the undead by the amoral vampire Lestat, played by Sam Reed. It is also noted the cast will reunite Jacob Anderson with his Game of Thrones director, Alan Taylor, who is directing the show's first 2 episodes. Details include that AMC Networks greenlit the Interview with the Vampire series in June for AMC Plus, and AMC, after acquiring the rights to Anne Rice's iconic works encompassing 18 titles, Vampire Chronicles and Mayfair Witch series. Award-winning film and television producer Mark Johnson, who did Breaking Bad, Better Call Saul, Halt and Catch Fire, and Rectify, who has an overall agreement with AMC Studios, is taking the lead on developing the full Anne Rice collection, purchased by AMC, into a streaming and television franchise and universe. So it might be well done because he's got a really good track record here. The Interview with the Vampire series is the first title in the collection to be developed for an 8-episode first season. Roland Jones of Perry Mason and Friday Night Lights, who also has an overall development deal with AMC Studios, is creator, showrunner, and executive producer. Johnson is also an executive producer, and Christopher Rice are non-writing executive producers. That's just probably an honorarium. They're not actually going to have any say on anything. The casting of Jacob Anderson as Lewis doesn't come without controversy, as in the books and movies played by Brad Pitt. The character is Louis de Point de Luc from France, and who is a Roman Catholic and emigrates to North America at a young age, where he is a slave owner. And the character is also described as having white skin, the color of bleached bone, chin length, black hair, and brilliant green eyes. So they're probably going to change that to he was a slave. So they're obviously changing stuff already. The June press release also offered the following quotes from the show creators. The challenge of adapting for television the groundbreaking and immensely compelling work that's reaching of Anne Rice is both intimidating and exhilarating, Johnson said in a statement. Having previously produced films from such singular works, I recognize both the responsibility and obligation we owe the material. I strongly believe that the AMC and Roland Jones are equipped to meet this challenge and to thrill and entertain both the loyal Anne Rice fans and the viewer who is just now discovering her work. Added Jones in a statement, in 1973, a grieving mother and extraordinary writer began what would become the finest vampire novel ever written. All respects to Mr. Stoker. That's you don't need to tongue bath her butthole, okay? Nearly 50 years later, we know what's expected of us. We know how much this book and the ones that follow mean to their massive fan base. We feel you over our shoulder as we tend the savage garden. Well, rather you attended your lady gardens. Lewis and Lestat are coming out of hiding, and we can't wait to reunite them with you. This is a day we've been looking for. I don't care anymore. So they're going to change this. Probably make him more gay, and he's going to probably be a slave now. And the kid will be a midget in a wheelchair, transgender. This show. French, especially from the 1800s. So, yeah. I'm not a big Anne Rice fan, but I know people that are, and I think this is going to flop pretty horribly. If they're going to do a bunch of changes to it, people will be pissed. You'll get the regular people that don't know any different, and they'll probably like it, but the diehards won't. Never cared for Anne Rice's stuff, so. They were also pasty white. They're almost translucent. Yeah. Blackula, Cougar Knife. That's a great movie. Grim Adventures of Billy and Mandy also already did the best Dracula. I've never seen that episode. I've only seen a few episodes of Grim Adventures of Billy and Mandy. Not my thing. I'm a little too old. Only 8 episodes per season. Can't they be created enough for a full season of 24 episodes? No, they can't. And the budget's probably too high because they're going to do a lot of flashbacks. So those outfits cost a lot of money. If they had balls, he would stay a slave owner. Free blacks own slaves as well. That's true, but they don't talk about that fact. I enjoyed Interview with a Vampire, but that's a bit generous. Yeah, I don't think I ever sat through the whole movie. I think I've only seen a few minutes of it. Tongue noises. Vampires are bad. Black folk or women are allowed to be bad in the U.S. Well, I don't know how they're going to handle this. They're going to make them very sympathetic, I'm sure. They give them lots of glitter. Yeah, hopefully. Vampire Brooklyn? I never saw that, I don't think. Eddie Murphy usually is in my wheelhouse, so I'm surprised I don't own that one. I might have to pick that one up sometime. All right, from the Hollywood Reporter, an exclusive drop today about the Expendables casting. Andy Garcia joined the Expendables 4. Stuntman turned Helmer Scott Waugh, Need for Speed, is directing for Lionsgate and Millennium. Andy Garcia joined the Magnum Muscle cast of the latest installment of the Expendables, the action film franchise from Lionsgate and Millennium Media. Jason Statham is leading a double-barreled call sheet that also includes Dolph Lundgren, Ray Couture, and Sylvester Stallone, who are set to reprise their roles from the previous 3 installments. I suspect Stallone's role is going to be pretty small. Also in the chambers are 50 Cent, Megan Fox, and Tony Jaa. Tony Jaa is an awesome actor. Stuntman turned helm Scott Waugh is set to direct and what will be the 4th franchise outing, with shooting scheduled to start in October. I'm surprised Jet Li's not back. Spencer Cohen wrote the script with revisions by Max Adams and John Joseph Connolly. Details are being kept in the holster, but the plot will once again focus on a group of veteran mercenaries. Garcia is playing a CIA agent assigned to accompany the Expendables on a dangerous mission. Statham is also producing, along with Kevin King Templeton, as well as a bunch of people I don't care about. Garcia is coming off shooting a remake of Father of the Bride, where he plays the lead role of the patriarch. Stop remaking movies! He also acts as producer. Yeah, whatever. Yep, that's about it. So he's in a remake of Father of the Bride, which was a Steve Martin movie, which wasn't that fun. Yeah, it's got lots of cheese. Cheese. I hate being on a list. They yeeted something? Oh, that's not cool. Oh, they yeeted the S word. Yeah, I'm not surprised on that one, Spittlebug. But yeah, Andy Garcia joining the Expendables is pretty cool. Fine with that. He's a good actor. Although why he's in a movie about the remake of Father of the Bride is dumb. Andy Garcia was never an action star, but it could be worse. At least he can act. All right. Let's see. I already covered that one. All right. We got a couple more articles here, but there's 2 articles and some tweets that I want to go over before we get into some hilarious nonsense. Again, that's the 3rd time that's been made. Yeah, well, they got to keep remaking it until everybody's happy. All right. So Chuck Dixon, longtime Batman and Robin writer, responds to DC retconning Tim Drake to make him the buy. That was in this issue that he get cozy with the dude. There's the scene. It's stupid. You don't need this asshole to fight. You're a fucking superhero. DC Comics retcon Tim Drake in the pages of Batman Urban Legends 6 in a story by Megan Fitzmartin and Berlin Ortega. In Batman Urban Legends 4, Drake meets up with his friend Bernard for dinner, but then things go awry when a chaos monster appears and kidnaps Bernard. Then in 6, Drake infiltrates the Chaos Monster's lair in an effort to rescue Bernard. While surrounded by the Chaos Cult, Bernard describes their dinner as a date when he tells Robin, "Please tell Tim Drake. He helped me realize my true self. Who I am, tell him, well, he probably knows. He's the smartest guy I've ever met. But tell him I wish we could have finished our date." Oh, look at that. Oh, God, it's so stupid. Look how effeminate this is. After defeating the Chaos Cult and rescuing Bernard, the story ends with Tim showing up at Bernard's house, and Bernard proceeded to ask him out on a date. And he, of course, went, "Yeah, I want that." And his hands out, reaching for Wiener, I assume. Dixon responded to this retcon in the latest episode of Ask Chuck Dixon by first detailing how much work on Robin he did. He says, "What are my bona fides on Robin? I wrote 100 of his monthly issues. I wrote numerous miniseries, specials, annuals of Tim Drake Robin. I did not create Tim Drake Robin. Marv Wolfman created Tim Drake Robin. Alan Grant further developed Tim Drake. But then I was tasked by Denny O'Neil to develop the character further and make him worthy of being Batman's sidekick. So he moved from ancillary character to full-fledged boy wonder." Dixon then went on to discuss the retcon. He explained, Robin is an iconic character. He's been around forever. I'm not surprised by what happened because this is what they do. It's disappointing more than anything else. I'm not mad. I'm just disappointed. He continued, because they couldn't just create a new character instead of leaning into a question that's existed for the Robin character almost since its creation, thanks to this gentleman, Frederick Wortham, who introduced the idea that there might be some sort of homosexual subtext to Batman and Robin, and now they've basically confirmed it. He's not wrong. If you don't know who Frederick Wortham is, you should look up Seduction of the Innocent. For what reason, I have no understanding. It's a cynical marketing ploy because it brings attention to the title, but what it will not bring to the title is increased sales, because these things never work that way. And he's not wrong. Long term, this will not help. It will probably just chase fans away. He then posited, there have been gay characters in American comics since the 80s. It's not a new thing. It's not stunning or brave. It's just changing things for the sake of changing things. I mean, what's next? Hal Jordan's a cannibal? What are they going to do next? Well, he's not wrong there. Don't give him ideas, Chuck. This has been the flavor of the month for almost 3 decades. It is to reveal that characters bi or gay, which to me is a distinction without a difference, the Robin writer asserted. Yeah, because they never date women afterward. They always just, I'm bisexual, and then they only date men. Dixon then retorted, I don't understand the point of it. The character was never written this way, never conceived this way. But this is going to be his continuity from now on. Even if they retcon it back, even if they do a reboot, he is no longer bi-curious. He will be bi-curious for the rest of the time. This is going to be part of his continuity. I don't think there's any really good reason for this beyond a simple marketing ploy. Like I said, these marketing ploys, they don't work. They're not effective. They don't raise sales, but they raise interest from the media and from peers within the industry, which I guess is the point, to get your back slapped at an editorial meeting or possibly get an interview with Vanity Fair. Maybe your name might get mentioned on CNN. This was a good issue, by the way. Dixon contended, but I think the vast majority of the American public has no idea who Tim Drake is. So Robin is gay because they don't know the difference between. They don't know there were 3 versions of Robin or 4 or 5 versions of Robin. They just know Robin, the Boy Wonder. And they're thinking Burt Ward and Adam West, and now Robin is into guys. But at the end of the day, it's just lazy writing. It's like what they use to kill characters to get interest in them. And that was the only idea for a long time. Now they delve into the characters' sexual proclivities. Yeah. Relationships were never this fucking complicated in comics. Dixon then explained how he predominantly wrote romantic stories rather than sexual stories. And for my money, when I was writing comics, under the comic code, none of the characters were ever sexually active. Now, I wrote plenty of scenes where there was a clinch and a fade out, and you could assume the characters went on to, do the deed. But I left that up to the reader. You could believe that, or you could not, he elaborated. It was like old movies where the leading man, leading lady have a passionate kiss, fade to black, and when we see them again, they're having breakfast together wearing different clothes. So you could fill in the blank between those scenes any way you wished, and that's where I've always left it. The only characters I ever had that were sexually active were Conan the Barbarian, and occasionally Frank Castle would get lucky. But other than that, I dealt in romantic relationships rather than sexual ones. And that is a lot easier, especially with the Comics Code Authority. You really couldn't do a lot of this stuff back then. Dixon then argued, but by introducing the idea that a character is gay or bisexual, you have introduced the sexual aspects of it. You are saying the word, and I don't think that it has a place. I know kids don't really read these things anymore, and they're written for adults, but it just seems like a weird way to go. In a medium filled with characters who run around in masks and capes and boots, it just seems to approach the fetishistic to explore their sexuality in any way, even just a hint at it. Well, I agree with that. Which I imagine is what what this comic is doing. It's simply hinting at what might happen in between the panels or in between issues, so I don't see any point in it. No, I'm not disgusted. I'm not angry. I don't own these characters. They can do what they want with them, but it's boring at the end of the day. It's just boring and a little disappointing. Well, I agree with that completely. It's always boring when they do this crap. So I'm on board with Chuck Dixon on this one. He wrote some great comics on Robin and Batman back in the day, and this I don't know how to say anything without getting myself in more trouble. This is lazy writing. And it's just pandering shamelessly. And I lost 6 viewers by talking about this. So they went clothes shopping? Yep. I'd read it, but only if he is like that, right? Skinny hot. All right. So that's up with what's up with Chuck Dixon's take on it. And I'm glad he said that because it makes me happy that there are some professionals out there that feel the same way. All right, let's get into our last article and talk about tabletop role playing. So we've been talking about some of the company decisions that have been going around, the wheelchair ramps in D&D, the way TSR got kind of crapped on recently and uninvited from conventions. Classic established character. I'm gay. Yeah, that's pretty much it. Buy my book. I'm gay now. So, with all the nonsense going on in role playing, it's not surprising that there would be a little bit of pushback and, of course, a vast overreaction by the social justice crowd. So, there's been a controversy brewing last couple of days over a list. But it's not the type of list you think it's going to be. Because when you hear SJWs and list, you think they're going to frog march some people to a gas chamber, which you won't be wrong on. But they're not the ones that made this list. This is from Bounding into Comics. Player-Created list of woke and non-woke tabletop role-playing game companies sparks discourse among listed entities. A player-curated list of... just repeat your title. How about that? Created by the RPG site forum member Okal on August 3rd, following his own thinking on the topic of fighting back and not giving my money to people that hate you. The TTRPG Guide to Woke Companies is intended to serve as a compilation list of companies and RPGs that are woke, those that sat on the fence, and those that are not. With the creator further noting that the list might be helpful when looking at various RPGs to know what you're getting into before you buy in. Now, I've watched major companies such as Wizards of the Coast employees engage in harassment and doxing campaigns and offers and others interfering with the ability of other creators to get their games on shelves and finally had enough, wrote Okal in the forward to the list. This is for my own love of gaming and the hobby. I would ask anyone that reads this to not reach out to the creators you don't agree with. Let them do their thing, and if this list helps you make a decision or discover a new game you didn't know existed, then it has done its job. Seems pretty straightforward because, they're doing the exact opposite. The SJWs are like, oh my God, these are anti-woke people. But this guy went the opposite route, and it took some balls to do it. Hopefully he's got his IP protected. The list, which is, as of this writing, currently exists as a living, regularly updated document, organizes TTRPG companies into 3 categories, green, yellow, and red, based on which companies other players suggested were ethical and decidedly apolitical and why they felt that way. The green category was for game companies and maintained a stance of neutrality, were pro-free speech, and are generally friendly regardless of anyone's political persuasion, explained to Okal. Entities such as Arian Games, Whitebox, Fang, and the newly revived TSR are currently grouped under this banner. We're going to look at this list in a few minutes here. The yellow categories, it's more questionable, the fence sitters, or ones that might lean a certain way. And red is for, which noted was that this document has become infamous for, is reserved for bad actors and entities that have caused harm to people or business, have a hostile stance on those of differing ideological views, or in general have engaged in anti-consumer practices. And we'll look at the whole list in a moment. Though the list was made over a month ago, it was recently brought to widespread attention by a handful of Twitter users, including Shinto Nephilim, who shared the list to their followers and said, "We've not made it onto the red list yet. We need to work harder." We'd be in good company. Honestly, they added, most of the ones we see on the red list is good company. Most on the green list is already on our ban list. See, they already have their own ban list. So let's jump over here and we can see their tweet. It's been archived. I wonder who did that. And here's the list here. And they go on. Excellent list for telling people who to buy from, red, a lot of the yellow, and who to avoid. So they're helping us out incredibly here. Look at that. List, TTRPG guide to woke companies. If you want to see, maybe try out on the red list. Fuck off. Well, someone else to note, we checked on Facebook and a few of our friends are mutuals with him. We think we'll let them know. So they proceed to try and dox the guy. We once it precious code we got for buying a lot. Yeah, look at that. They're trying. This asshole's trying to dox this dude. So that's why you got to be real careful and not be on Facebook because it fucking sucks. Following the resurfacing of the list, a number of other RPG affiliates began to voice their support for being included in the red list, which many seeing their inclusion as a badge of honor. Pookie, owner of Ryle Reviews and an editor of on the TTRPG, Zwinehandler described the list as a guide to gaming if you're racist, anti-woke, misogynist, and intolerant, and asserted it was an ill-informed and as vile as you would expect. So you're being intolerant toward the people that made this list? That's interesting. The TTRPG woke red list is what all good TTRPG designers should aspire to. Why are they calling it TTRPG? RPGs existed in physical format before video games. Why don't we call them video game RPGs? So VGRPG instead. Fuck off with this TT shit. Unless there's titties, the TT shouldn't be there. This is all about as what's blah. The TTRPG woke red list is what all good RPG designers should aspire to, said former Magic the Gathering contributor Dennis Detwiller. Well, fuck you, Dennis. You suck. Through Old Hands Door author Ben Lawrence, who was included in the list green category, adamantly refuted his placement, writing, "The author's list seems to have mistakes on it. Let me fix it for them." He then went on to say, Black Lives Matter, trans women are women, trans men are men, gaming is for everyone. Gaming is for everyone. No one's disputing that, idiot. Or talk about your nonsense politics. Inclusion of marginalized voices in gaming is crucial. Ugh. Grow up. Though the company was not included on Oakl's list, the official Twitter account of Witch and Craft Games, I've never even heard of them, attempted to ingratiate themselves into the controversy, declaring red doesn't even begin to describe us, and we are even on the red page. We'd ask for a redder section to be added for people like us, who will gladly beat a fascist into the ground with a copy of any of our books. Oh boy. Wow, you're so stunning and brave. Look at you trying desperately to get some notoriety. All right, so let's take a look at this list, eh? Real quick, I'm going to take a drink. Titty topless RPGs, I'd play that. I think all these flipping butt puppets never played tabletop RPGs. It's a common place to bribe the DM in order to get questionable character sheets approved. Yeah, like, hey, I brought pizza and I brought one just for you. My character sheet's on top. Is it cool? Oh, yeah. Thanks for the pizza. Yep, games were created by the marginalized, just not the right type of marginalized. Exactly right, Dangerous. Oh, real quick, thank you, Okie Native, for the donation. Tangentially related to the conversation 10 minutes ago, sort of, Stallone personally offered Jackie Chan the character of Simon Phoenix, but declined, so he wouldn't be typecast as a martial artist bad guy, so they ended up with Wesley Snipes. Wow. Well, I don't know really what to say to that, other than I think Demolition Man was a great movie. And that's Jackie Chan's loss. That's a cult classic. Night Spittlebug. What's the link for that list? I give you the link to the article, but the actual list is in the tweets, and it took a little bit of screwing around to get it. So you can find the links on this article. I don't know why it's giving all those extra numbers, but let me double check that link, make sure it works okay. Yeah. Yeah, you should be able to find, bounce through the tweet links there. I'll give you this other link too of the guy that actually posted it. You can pull the original hyperlink out of the top line where it says saved from. And it should still be posted. This was just archived on the 7th. So. All right, so I got to share my screen. Let's go through this list of awful things. Oh, you're welcome. All right, so green, not woke or indifferent. We have RPG Pundit. They make Lion and Dragon, Arrows of Indra, Dark Albion. Historical fiction stays true to the mindset of the times. See his YouTube channel, might create a new category here for anti-SJW. Okay, that's cool. Anti-SJW like that. Troll Lord Games, they do Castles and Crusades. Siege Engine supports vets with big discounts, generally stays apolitical. That's good. Troll Lord makes some good stuff. Studio Gate, Shadows of Estrin. No indication of any affiliation. Decent game. Takes forever to fulfill Kickstarters, though. Precise Media, Intermedia, makers of genre division systems and a publisher of any other game. Never seen anything woke from them. And the owner seems like a really cool, level-headed guy. Autoric, ACKS, no indication one way or another. Neurotic Gnome, Old School Essentials, makes a point to be apolitical. Basic Fantasy always keeps its politics separate from products. Basic Fantasy is a cool system. It's basically a modified 2.0 D&D game. And it's really cheap on Amazon. But that guy is pretty left-wing from what I can tell. He does seem to leave his politics out of the gaming stuff, but he doesn't seem too shy about it otherwise. But it is really a cheap game to pick up. The core book's like $5. Osric hasn't given an indication of getting political. Whitebox, FMAG, no indication of getting political. Goblinoid Games, they do Labyrinth Lord, no indication of getting political. I have the Whitebox core rulebook. I got to read it at some point. Frog God Games, Swords of Wizardry, did a bit of pandering with all-female printing of Swords of Wizardry. Suspect, but worth noting. Postmortem Studios, they do Tales of Gore, Punk RPG, and Grimdark. Visit the storefront, can't imagine them giving a shit what people think. Palladium does what they've always done, make gonzo worlds. Northwind Adventures, Astonishing Swordsmen and Sorcerers of Hyboria, hired some woke artists, but otherwise seems faithful to AD&D, doesn't appear to get preachy. I'm not familiar with them. Venture Satanis did a game called Alpha Blue, Anti-SJW. Yeah, if you ever read the Alpha Blue modules, yeah, I would say the SJWs would not be interested in that work. But yeah, aside from the silly name, Venture Satanis work is pretty interesting. Definitely not for the faint of heart. Peterson Games, Cthulhu Mythos, among others, and the Cthulhu Wars board game, which I have opened several copies of. They tried to cancel him for thinking that men shouldn't compete in women's sports. Seems like a generally nice dude. Yeah, Sandy Peterson's an interesting cat, but made some really cool games over the years. Catalyst Lab Games, they do Shadowrun and a bunch of other stuff. Giving them the benefit of the doubt for now, unless someone shows otherwise, but this was posted last year. They have a statement on social justice. Oh, really? I'll look at that later. Riot Minds, I was about to click on a link that I can't get because this is a JPEG. Riot Minds Lex Occultum does not appear to be political. You can get their proprietary system or the D&D adaptation or adopt the setting for your own system. It's a beautiful setting with outstanding artwork. Lamentations of the Flame Princess. Edgelords cannot be contained. They were on the receiving end of the cancel mob and Twitterati for a while. Lamentations of the Flame Princess has some pretty dark modules. I've got the core book and a couple of the regular adventure modules, and it seems interesting, but it's kind of hard to find and it's a little expensive. For Golden Glory, nothing to suggest going woke. Seems indifferent. Never heard of them. Immersive Ink, delving deeper, indifferent. Now let's go over to yellow. Sort of woke are panders. If it's there, it's subtle. The bend the knee to the grifters, or maybe themselves are woke. Fantasy Flight Games. This is disappointing. Hard to decide if it belongs here or just in the woke category. They gender and race swap characters, ban words that might be considered offensive, like Bonanzi, and generally allow the woke mob to take over the forums and run away with their trade dress, etc. They don't constantly harass potential customers and tell them how much they hate them, at least. They make some great games, too. It's really a shame. Telsorian Games, mixed bag in my opinion. They really lean heavy into IDIC, infinite diversity and infinite combinations. It's on their page rules, lots of pronouns and bios. They haven't gone full crazy just yet. They also make Cyberpunk 2020, which I love that game. So it's kind of a shame that they're kind of woke. Goodman Games tried to protect itself by distancing itself from Judges Guild and donating to the ADL. Other than that, they can't really find anything else on them. Praised BLM for a time. Ooh, boo. Chaosium changed in world lore to be more for RuneQuest, some censorship and bending to BLM and LGBT plus demands, which is a real shame. Their Call of Cthulhu game is the best Cthulhu game out there. Monty Cook Games, poor Monty, used to make some good stuff, tends to push things like consent forums in gaming, some stuff on mental illness, but otherwise panders. Yeah, Monty Cook Games is total woke trash. They had that whole booklet on woke gaming and getting consent forms signed so you could what you could and could talk about in your game. Fucking dumb. Oh yeah, Ryan, no problem. Palladium in the green zone, all's right with the world. Yeah, I like Palladium. It'd be a real shame if they were fucking woke. Keeping hobbies sounds great 10 years ago. Yeah. Catalyst Games, too money hungry to care what people think. Yeah, well, that's kind of the point of being in business, right? Mongoose Games had a Don't Be a Dick section in Paranoia, recommended by poster, open for debate whether yellow or green. Paranoia is an awesome game if you ever get a chance to play it. You got to have the right crowd for that, though. Mofa Diaz publishes some woke products, but doesn't seem to only publish woke products. Pinnacle Entertainment, Savage Worlds, and Deadlands removed the CSA from Deadlands and removed a lot of the old art that might offend anyone, particularly anything with partial nudity or more risque outfits. Also made sure they weren't too many white guys in their core rulebook. Still pretty solid, but they pander or cave to demands occasionally. And that's really disappointing because removing the CSA is part of their universe. They just chopped out an entire... The CSA is the Confederate States of America because it takes place in the undead West and the Civil War to end the way it did in real life. Hero Games, higher sensitivity readers. Huge, huge disappointment for Hero Games. They had some awesome games. Champions was amazing. GURPS, Steve Jackson Games, banned by RPGNet for not being woke, though some of the devs might be. Steve Jackson signed onto October Surprise, so he did come down with the case of Trump derangement syndrome. And that's really sad because Steve Jackson used to be really cutting edge. He got raided by the FBI back in the late 80s, I want to say, because of his book Cyberpunk. The FBI thought it might be a national security issue. Interesting story I should go over sometime on stream. But yeah, Steve Jackson going TDS is really sad, especially because he's based out of like Texas, if I remember right. Free League, standard gaming is for everyone spiel, but could go either way. Published Forbidden Lands, which slips into some anti-woke themes. Yellow leaning green. Atlas Games, they do Ars Magica. President of Atlas Games has totaled TDS and is another blue checkmark. Unsure how badly it shows in their games. For now, it's yellow bordering on red. Let's look at red. Woke. These people probably despise you if you don't fall in line, and they aren't afraid to let you know it. Wizards of the Coast. Harasses customers, diversity checkboxes, hires based on race, pedo judges, that's their magic tournaments, apparently. Bans anyone they disagree with on social issues from all sanctioned events. True dumpster fire. Pazio Has whole pages of their book telling you how you must play their game and be inclusive. They keep spelling "their" wrong. This is a location, not a THEIR. Where's that? Whatever. Harasses customers, aggressively moderates forums against anyone to the right of Stalin, retconned Golorian lore to be more inclusive. Starfinder even had an adventure where you needed to get a professor at a university to apologize for being insensitive despite being factually correct. No lie, first adventure path. Another AP for Pathfinder shows all men as incompetent, read like a Tumblr blog, and all the women were super powerful. And if you didn't bring back the black lesbian disabled ranger with you, then you automatically lost. Iron Gods or something like that. Yeah, I heard that Pathfinder got really woke, and that's probably a big pain in the ass for some people. Zweihander, Grim Perilous Games, freaking dumpster fire. That's all it says. Cubicle 7, not as bad as the others on the list. They're definitely woke. Their art design generally shows it, having extremely odd choices for portraits in Warhammer Fantasy Line, and ignoring in-world cultural practices like female dwarven artisans aren't generally a thing. Ticks diversity checkboxes, pronouns in the bio. I haven't seen them harassing customers yet, so that's a win. They also did the Doctor Who role-playing game, which I've heard mixed reviews on. I've got the core book somewhere. Renegade Game Studios, they do Vampire the Masquerade 5th edition. Not sure where to start with these guys, woke in their products and openly hate you. That sounds about right. Vampire fans were always kind of snotty, though. Onyx Path, Chronicles of Darkness, no notations given. New White Wolf Publishing, not sure if they're still around. See Mophodius and Onyx Path, they're all sister companies. Green Ronin, Chris Pramis is a full-on member of Antifa, has a vitriolic hatred for white people, and his products reflects this. Publishes Blue Rose, the gay RPG. Yeah, it's really a shame. Green Ronin used to do some good stuff. Monkey House Games, Jeff D. Enormous asshole and activist. If you're Republican or conservative or Christian, this hates you. Evil Hat Productions. We talked about them last week with their Thirsty Sword lesbians. Another poster child for woke gaming, embedded in everything from their forums to their products and staff. Openly tells you if you don't like their politics, don't buy their game. Too easy. Occult Ort Mastery Games Stockholm Cartel. Mork Borg uses open game license to shoot down authors they disagree with. Supports BLM and bailing out rioters. Sigil Stone Publishing, 5 Torches Deep. Just read the last pages in the FTD Origins titled Bioessentialism, Racism, and Colonialism. Ugh. Wow, I think I could skip that one. Reaper Miniatures fired a guy for criticizing Antifa on a personal page. Antifa supporters are automatic red. Yeah, I'm fair with that. That's their commie color. Pelgrim Press, they do a game called 13th Age. The thing about SWG, straight white guys, is that they make great punching bags. That's a quote, apparently. Still need a citation for this, but for now is going red. Also published, #feminism. Gallant Games, they do sharp swords and sinister spells, and the tiny RPGs. Game dev threatening to punch people in the face at a con. That's lovely. So that's the list. I don't know if you guys have any agreements or disagreements on that. That was so bad. It seemed okay, but it looks like all their supplement books is really where things got stupid. I thought it was an improvement over 4th, at least. Feel pretty sure Pinnacle was forced to do that by Kickstarter. I'm pretty sure that's why they're experimenting on fundraising their own page right now. I hope you're right, BG. But you never know. Bioessentialism. Oh, you haven't heard that one? Oh, that's a treat. But I thought we should go over that because I haven't seen too many people covering that, and that article made me interested on the actual list. Because since nobody's really covering it, I would like to know actually where they're placing people on these lists. Seems like that might be important. so that is kind of all I had today. Thought we would take some questions real quick, then round out the show. But yeah, if you guys have any differences on some of those people on the list, you could probably contact them privately or make your own list and your own thoughts on it. Shame some of them said Palladium's all good. Yeah, Palladium's cool. It's disappointing to see about Chaosium, but not surprising. SJW's infiltrated gaming a long time ago, right around D&D 3rd edition. And they've been spurging out ever since. It's getting worse and worse every year. And it looks like they're infiltrating other game companies. And that's always disappointing. Running some Space Jammer. Thanks, man. Thanks for the compliments, Deckfish. Have fun playing. Oh, thanks, TOS, for coming out. Comrade Kitty, how's Floofington? He's doing pretty good. He's out being a pain in the ass. Running his territory like a boss, you know. Oh, I was real bummed about Steve Jackson, man. Yeah, if you want to any more, that you have to really research who you're going to buy from if you don't want to support this Antifa shit. Because a lot of these companies are West Coast based, so it's really hard to not picture them as being woke. So you want to check their social media. The odds of becoming an anime fan pretty slim. Like a lord. Yeah, he's got to survey his domain, comrade. But I fed him earlier before the stream, and he's doing pretty good. He was standing in the middle of the street like a dipshit when a car was coming, but other than that, he's fine. So I think he's outside of the door right now. Hopefully he's staying out of the street. He's a nice kitty, but he doesn't seem to have a whole lot of danger sense or situational awareness. So he like lays down in the street sometimes, like this is mine, fuck off, and then doesn't pay attention to other vehicles or anything. So yeah, strange cat. But yeah, that'll do it for this one, guys. Thank you so much for coming out and listening. Yeah, if you like a game system from one of those companies, either buy an older edition or pick it up used. So yeah, support the people that are apolitical or just not woke or outright anti-SJW, because we've seen what the SJW types do to things and how much this cancellation culture is spreading. And I don't think I want to give my money to people that don't like me. That's why I've cut way back on my DC and Marvel comics. Eventually, most of them will be phased out, and I'm only buying the titles that are good, or at least I think are good. He's gonna go outside and eat grass. Oh, nice. Well, thanks for coming out. A video just premiered, so if you want to watch it, there's the link. And thank you all for coming. It's greatly appreciated. Thanks for the donation, Oki. I really do appreciate that quite a bit. And hopefully we'll see you guys next Friday or on Monkey in the Morning, where I can bitch about politics, or on next week's episode, hopefully on Wednesday. But you guys have a great day. Take care of yourselves. Do something exciting so I can pretend I did it. And we will see you on the next one.